Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating it's Thursday, March 22nd, 2018. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as they're already participating in the work to complete the many Search for Truth assignments given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us, and are already contributing more to completing those assignments than they are taking or using or borrowing in Search for Truth resources. Last August, we as a Search for Truth community were given an assignment to fit a certain topic into the broadcasts as often as possible. That's how it was worded. Fit this topic into the broadcasts as often as possible. Fit it into as many broadcasts as possible. That might have been actually what it said. Somebody's saying that I'm not sure that's exactly correct. Okay, they said fit it into as many broadcasts as possible.
That's true.
And the topic in question is enabling is not love. And we have been waiting for that topic to find its way into the broadcasts in the natural flow of channeling from higher powers above all of us. And it has not made its way into the broadcast, possibly not even once, maybe twice, but definitely not enough to fulfill the standard.
That's true.
That was given to us when the assignment came in, and it's been a really long time. It's been maybe 7 months since then, and that's long enough. It's long enough. Why do you ask? Maybe 8 months. I think it's been 8 months. Now we'll have to count, okay? So it came in August. August to December is 5, and it's March, so it's 8 months. It's been 8 months.
That's true.
Why do you ask? Now we have head pain.
That's true.
What now? In order to fit into this broadcast the topic of enabling is not love in such a way as to update the antiquated laws of karmic attribution so everyone stands on his or her own merits regardless of size, gender, sexual orientation, or dimension of origin. Somebody's asking why we pick that as the kind of like basis for the session, and the reason we pick that is similar, is that is another core assignment given to the Search for Truth community. It's the second assignment. There's a lot of arguing. The first assignment is to lead the Search for Truth efforts until it's being consistently done better. Consistently, that word goes in both places.
That's true.
Elsewhere. And the second assignment is to lead the justice efforts until the justice efforts are being consistently done, consistently better elsewhere.
That's
and
true.
The justice efforts, the cornerstone of the justice efforts is to update the antiquated laws of karmic attribution so everyone stands on his or her own merits regardless of size, gender, sexual orientation, or dimension of origin. Why do you ask? It feels possible that the questioners are asking something, anything to stop us from getting to the topic, which is to fit enabling is not love into as many broadcasts as possible.
That's true. Stretch higher.
Enabling is not love. Those are two different things. There's an awful lot of confusion about what love is, and sadly in this toxic society, and somebody asked what society we're referring to, and I think the speaker is of higher dimensions and is referring to his or her own society.
Yes,
but
that's
of course their societies flow down upon the denser dimensions, including but not limited to ground zero planet Earth and all the dimensions that are even more dense.
That's true.
So this attitude is flowing down from at least their level and possibly from higher levels. There is definitional confusion about what love is. And somebody's asking what we know, and that they're tapping, while they're asking the question, they're also tapping very loudly and prominently on this one. It looks like a slate. It looks like an old-fashioned slate, such as a school child might have had.
Yes, I see the slate.
Where one would write one's notes in chalk, possibly.
That's true.
And on the slate, what would a slate represent? A teaching of long standing. A slate would represent a teaching of long standing.
That's true.
This teaching of long standing within this particular community, as channeled from our Ra through Asha and other channels as well, but that's a really kickin' combination of teacher and channel.
That's true.
And one of the channelings was a definition of what true love actually is. And they said, I'm going to paraphrase, those who are above the dividing line, who live in a space where truth and true love are the predominant vibrations, that's what we call the higher dimensions. Below that dividing line, where truth and true love are not the predominant vibrations, we call it the astrals, the astral dimensions, and then it eventually percolates down to the actual densest levels, and it goes all the way down until we break out, and once more we're in light below. It's like a hamburger. If you think of the densest dimensions as being the burger patty, hopefully vegetarian, hopefully a veggie burger.
That's true.
A vegetarian burger patty. There's lighter and lighter and lighter dimensions going up through the bun until you get into the air, and lighter and lighter and lighter dimensions going through the bun below until you get to clear space.
That's true.
And the densest dimension is in the middle of the sandwich. And the teaching was those who are outside of the density of contamination demonstrate what true love actually is, and that true love is calling the beloved into his or her greatness.
That's true.
True love is calling the beloved into his or her greatness. That was the teaching of many, many years, maybe decades. The teaching of decades was that true love is calling the beloved into his or her greatness. Why do you ask? I think this person feels soothed by hearing it.
That's true. It kind of feels like my own words coming back to me.
It does, possibly indicating that it's a Ra.
That's true.
Way up there who's asking the question. So back to the original question of what is love. If love is calling the beloved into his or her greatness, the antithesis of that is actually enabling.
That's true.
Enabling is the antithesis of calling the beloved into his or her greatness. And sadly, in the toxicity of our society, and the speaker is clearly once more referring to his or her own society in a very real and personal way.
That's true.
And I believe the speaker to be a Ra way up there.
I do.
And he's saying, sadly, in this society, enabling has been falsely mislabeled as love. And they were sending us messages about the propaganda machines and how the propaganda machines use these various phrases, and you can tell who is listening to the propaganda machines because they use the phrases that the propaganda machines are broadcasting.
That's true.
So you can watch how people use that four-letter word spelled L-O-V-E and see whether or not they're listening to propaganda broadcasts. And if they're using that four-letter word L-O-V-E to mean something that smacks of enabling, then they've been listening to the propaganda of a sick society.
That's true.
Why do you ask? He feels peaceful now.
That's true.
Kind of feels like now I can die in peace.
That's the feeling.
As if he's expecting the door to be broken down at any moment. And we've felt this from other souls in other dimensions before, and we believe that to be a hero's attitude.
That's true.
So thank you. to all who stand for a true definition of true love. Enabling is not love. Enabling is a propaganda lie, or rather, it is a propaganda lie that to be loving means to enable the beloved.
That's true.
To be loving means to call the beloved into his or her greatness, and the same person is asking, what do we know? And what we know is that usually that doesn't go over very well.
That's
usually
true.
The beloved would far prefer to be enabled.
That's
and
true.
Often when one makes the effort to very carefully discern, how can I word this so as to stand the greatest possible chance of success? And then to say, what would happen if you didn't watch the soccer game on your mobile device while this large group of us is sitting at brunch together? That's a good try.
That's true.
But it still doesn't go over well.
No, that's true.
The beloved gets very hostile, and often the group will side with the beloved because they perceive the speaker to be mean, quote unquote,
That's
and
true.
not loving, quote unquote,
That's
because
true.
the speaker is saying what needs to be said. And that's what's loving, saying what needs to be said. There are 4 tests of speaking that we learned from our Ra. We believe we learned it from our Ra
That's
during
true.
the era when Asha was channeling, and once more we refer you to the stats of how those two worked together. Our Ra, a magnificent teacher, and Asha, possibly the clearest channel we've had the pleasure with which to work.
That's true.
Oh, such arguing. It's still true,
It's
friends.
so
She's a
true.
really kickin' channel. And you guys can disappear her all you want, and she's still a really kickin' clear channel.
That's true.